It is an honor for me to receive you this afternoon, and I must begin by apologizing for this meeting taking so long, because I know you requested for it a while back, but we have had a lot of work, and of course you know what COVID-19 has done globally, and also in Uganda. And since we lead the Ministry of Education, we had to take some time and to have our schools opened first and to see that that is done and settled, and then we could begin taking some other meetings. So I'm sorry that it took some time. But today I am really honored to host women, and gentlemen. Women I'd like to refer to as women soldiers for the cause of women, for peace and development.
Your Excellency, Wasibiotia Mama.
You very kind. Please pull your microphone closer to you.
All right. If you will permit me, Your Excellency, I would like to introduce my delegation here and just give them maybe 30 seconds to briefly say what they do. Then I'll come back and begin to talk about the reason why we are here.
I'm Lennon Lauren Kaiser, and I'm based in Rwanda as international students doing MBA. One of our work is to reduce poverty within Africa, and with that, we are engaged with HIV and AIDS. We realize that HIV and AIDS if you do a thorough research, most people have HIV and AIDS because of poverty, the sex worker, disadvantaged youth. So we are engaging young women, removing them from the street, empowering them with vocational skills to be a productive women for the future. Thank you.
In Brand Ambassador Kenya, I'm a gender activist. I advocate for gender equality through education for all and good health and well-being. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mama Janet. Yes, I'm Josephine Chirabo from Uganda. I am an author, and I've given you 2 books.
Rose actually works from Kenya, and she works with people that have issues around mental health issues in Kenya. So without wasting much time, I would like to introduce the project called COAP, the Coalition of Women in Africa for Peace and Development. It's a movement that started in 2018 with the agenda of bringing together African women of like minds in different sectors of the economy towards pushing for peace and development, ending poverty, and girl child education in Africa. We've had 2 editions already, in 2018 and 2021, 2 editions, one in Nigeria and one in Dubai, and we're going to have a 3rd edition this year. Okay, so basically we've pushed for various things around our 4 thematic points. As regards peace and development in Africa, we annually have a summit where we used to engage women, and they come together and they look at issues around peace and development in Africa, and we come out with papers at the end of the event which we pass across to heads of state to say this is what women in Africa are saying around peace and development in Africa. As regards the girl child education, we started a project where we are sending girls back to school. In Nigeria, we've sent 100 girls back to school, and each country we have the annual summit. We leave our footprint by sending at least 100 to 200 girls from the less privileged home back to school to ensure they finish their education, because at COAP we believe education is power. We also have worked around poverty, ending poverty. We have a food bank we have launched in Nigeria that opens the bank whenever there is need. And we give out free food to families in Nigeria, especially the woman and the girl child. That is our target. area. And also ending poverty, we've started the first of its kind real estate project called the African Women's County, where only women are allowed to own properties. Never been done anywhere. Only women are allowed to own properties, and what this does for them is that it gives them the capacity to approach banks if they want loans. And in most cases, we have heard of issues where a woman loses her husband, and the next thing that happens is that she's thrown away from the house because she doesn't have a property. But with this, the woman owns her own property and is in charge. Whenever anything happens, she can continually take care of her family. We also do this in any African country we go to. We try to set up the African Women's County strictly for women. Only women can own properties there. So these are some of the projects we've been able to do. We also found that a lot of women start businesses but don't have the capacity. They don't have the capacity to grow these businesses. They don't have structures to grow these businesses. So we started what is called Built to Last for women, and it has been a huge success. We had a physical event and we have virtual events every month, where we teach them structures, how to run your business, how to build a business to last, how to build a business that would even last after you're far gone. So these are some of the things we've put together, Your Excellency, around our 4 thematic areas: supporting the girl child, supporting the woman, and we've had huge results. And Co-op has footprints in 34 African countries. We have footprints in 34 African countries, and currently in our database, we have over 10,000 women in our database. Now, this is women that have their own projects they run. And if by extension, we are reaching close to 200,000 and above women across women and Africa, women and the girl child. That's what we've been able to set up. And as regards this meeting today, Your Excellency, last year we requested for a courtesy visit to ask Your Excellency to host the African Women's Summit. And we got a response this year, and like you've explained, we understand the things that happened. So we're here today to say, okay, Your Excellency, we want to ask that the hosting be next year. So we have enough time.
Clap for that.
And while we have asked that you host next year, this year's event, because we had earlier responses, will be held in Kigali, Rwanda.
Okay.
And as of today, we've confirmed that our co-chairperson of the coalition, Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Liberia, Chief Dr. Jewel Howard Taylor, will be at the event as the special guest of honor. She has continually supported the movement as the coalition co-chairperson, and she will be in Kigali. So I would like to update you, Ma, on the event in Kigali, because we also want to request specially your presence at the event in Kigali. So we'll update you. As of today, we've had a lot of women register for the event. 1,000 women have registered to participate at the event. We're expecting that the venue at Marriott Kigali would take at least 400 women, and the rest will participate virtually. And we've confirmed a lot of people for the event. And one critical person we've confirmed, apart from the Vice President, is the head of the AFOA Fund at the African Development Bank. Your Excellency, as part of our actions to end poverty and hunger, we found out that the African Development Bank has a fund of $500 million annually that it has kept aside for women in Africa to support them and to support their businesses. And we reached out to the African Development Bank, and they graciously have confirmed that the woman in charge of that particular fund will be in Kigali to talk to African women about the fund and how they can access that fund. That has been one of the huge wins for us as regards the African Women's Summit this year in Kigali. Mm-hmm. Also, Your Excellency, we have looked at your achievements over the years, and African women have overwhelmingly asked me via the coalition to honor you with an award at Kigali for the immense work you've done around the girl child, for the immense work you've done around women. I would like to just read a brief of that, as stated clearly in our letter we have sent to you. In September 2018, you launched the Education Response Plan for refugees and host communities in Uganda, with a vision where all refugee children as well as host community children have access to quality learning at all levels, including pre-primary, primary, secondary, and non-formal education. We also started the national non-governmental organization, Uganda's Women's Effort to Save Orphans, whose mission is to tend to the needs of children who were orphaned by civil conflict and HIV/AIDS. USO has since expanded its focus to empowering entire communities to help orphans and vulnerable children, in addition to advocating for child protection and education. USO supports communities through village saving programs, access to banks, and providing business management skills. Through the National Strategy for the Advancement of Rural Women in Uganda, your NGO works with poor rural women to empower them economically through various interventions. The organization provides microfinance and other resources to support non-agricultural enterprise to empower rural women and also educate women on topics such as gender, balance, family health, HIV and AIDS, and nutrition. Your NGO has also implemented local projects in nearly 24 rural districts in Uganda. Your Excellency Ma, these things you have done tally with what our aims and objectives and our key points as co-op. That is why the women in co-op are going to be honoring you with the highest award in co-op at the annual Women's Summit to be held in Kigali. Okay. The annual Women's Summit to be held in Kigali on the 12th, and 13th of May at Marriott Hotel. We've brought a letter requesting that Your Excellency please accept this award on the behalf of women from Africa. Please, a round of applause for Her Excellency, please.
Thank you so much. That's ever so kind of you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Ma. Now we have 3 letters here. One is as regards the awards. Another is requesting your presence as our special guest of honor at the African Women's Summit in Kigali, and also to deliver also a keynote or welcome address to African women at the summit, where we would formally announce that Uganda, the beautiful country of Uganda, I love Uganda, I love the weather in Uganda, I love the people in Uganda. We would announce that Uganda will be hosting African women in 2023 at the Gala Night in Kigali. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. This is a brief of why we are here. This is a brief of what we are doing. This is a brief of what we are requesting from you, Ma.
So, now perhaps you can still tell me what your strategy really is to fulfill these objectives of yours. What are you doing to...
Thank you, Your Excellency, Ma. Like I said, co-op, it's a coalition of women, and these women are already doing things in their sphere around these core areas. So the idea of co-op is to bring them together and to sharpen their response in what they are doing, and also get both government and other supports like we are going to be getting from the African Development Bank. Then us ourselves as co-op, what we do is that as regards girls' child education, we ensure we raise funds ourselves to fund girls back to school, to pay their school fees. So we go out of our way to generate resources that we use to pay school fees for young girls. And we've seen a lot of them so excited, their parents so excited that we've given their kids an opportunity, especially for the kids that are actually in the graduating classes but can't pay that final school fees just to finish the last process. Also, Your Excellency, we believe tech is the future. Tech is the future, and that's why we started Girls in Tech. We want to begin to teach, or we have started teaching girls across Africa tech skills. That's where the world is going to. And for every summit or for every country we go to, we ensure we pick girls from that locality and teach them tech skills that will make them financially stable and viable in future, so they become a help both to themselves, to the family, to the society, and to the country. Your Excellency, Ma, if you notice, most of the tech startups in Africa are receiving huge attention from the globe, from the world, from funders, from investors. And if you look at them, most of them are run by men. But at co-op, we really believe that women, if given the opportunity, can do a lot more. If given the opportunity, can do a lot more. So that's why we're saying, okay, girls, if you're interested in tech, come out. We know it costs a lot, Ma, to teach one girl child a tech skill. Right. It costs a lot. We are saying, don't worry, we'll take care of the fees. We'll pay for you, learn this skill. So that's one huge strategy we're using, Girls in Tech. Funding them, paying for them to learn tech skills that they use to empower themselves, empower their society, and empower their families at large. So these are some of the strategies we have put in place to ensure that this happens. Also, Your Excellency, at the event in Kigali, we'll be inaugurating the Technical Working Committee, which will look at the several issues that will be raised and plans and strategies that will be brought forth to implement as we go on. So it's not just a one-off event and you go and you come back next year and it's another one-off event. No, there has to be continuity, because at Co-op we already have a 10-year strategic development plan that we have put in place on what we are going to be doing for the next 10 years around our key thematic areas. So these are the things we've put in place around these areas. Ending hunger. We are looking at large-scale agriculture. And Your Excellency, because of the funds that are required, we need to approach the likes of African Development Bank. And good thing is that we've begun the conversation. And we are so excited that they are going to be at the event. And we are going to ask them and put to them these issues, because agriculture is a huge mainstay. And if you can fund agriculture, we can have a lot of women empowered in that field, especially to end hunger. And with the issue of peace and development, we believe that women play a critical role in sustainable development and peace in Africa. And women can play a critical role. Every man has a woman that he listens to. Every man has a woman that he listens to. So we're saying, women, come, let's discuss around these issues. Come, let's know, let's talk, let's proffer solutions around these issues, whereby we can now go back. Like we said, for every event we have a communique and the outputs of the event that we send back to the government and say, this is what African women are saying. This is what African women are saying. This is what African women believe can be done. And we also do that to project women activities. We do that a lot. We project women activities. We support activities of women across Africa. And that's why we have women in Africa that are our focal points. We support women activities across Africa. We push for women activities across Africa. But the responsibility is a lot. The financial burden is a lot. So we look for donor agencies. We look for government offices. And we also look for organizations like the African Development Bank that have the funding. And basically, they are looking for structured women organizations that have structure, that they can say, okay, let's channel these funds through this structure and ensure women in the various parts of Africa are reached. For women in tech, we started with 20 young ladies in Nigeria, and we'll be doing another 20 again in Kigali, and by the time we get to Uganda, we'll do another 20. That's for women in tech. But for our women that run their various projects across Africa, what we do is that at the annual summit, we'll ask them, let's know what you're doing. Give us a report of what you're doing. Then the technical working committee would look at that report and say, okay, we can fund this, we can fund this, we can fund that. But for this year's event in Kigali, we have decided that by the time the African Development Bank lady shows up, because it's going to be our third edition, we would ensure we get a commitment from her that at least $50 million out of the $500 million be channeled to the women in Co-op. That's something we're going to be pushing strongly for. We've told all the country delegation heads that we're going to be pushing for that strongly, and they should all come ready with their proposals. They should all come ready with their vision and their plans they have for what they are doing in their locality. Because I know African Development Bank is very organized. They want to see something that has structure that they can fund and support. And with that $50 million, Your Excellency, we know we'll reach thousands of women across Africa, thousands of women, and that is one of the greatest goals and achievements we'll have at the Kigali event. Counts as the first of its kind real estate project that we developed in Nigeria as the pilot, whereby women own properties. Yes, because it's been quite challenging for women to own properties, and they've not had anything that they could say it's their own. So we have a location, at a very good location in Nigeria, but no man could own property there. Now guess what, Your Excellency? If the men wanted to buy, they would either buy in the name of their wives, their daughters, or their mothers. What this has done? In this one county? Yes, in the we call it the African Women's Council. It's a 14 hectares project. It's a project. Yes, it's a 14 hectares project, right? So that means, even without knowing it, these women are now property owners because all documents are in their names. If we were going to go to the National Assembly to seek for legislation to ensure that men buy properties in the name of their wives, trust me, Your Excellency, it will take forever, and those bills will not even see the light of day, like what happened with the gender bills in Nigeria. But saying to the men, you want this beautiful buy in the name of a woman, and insist on it, has immediately given lands, properties to women in Nigeria. And we think it's a way to go to empower the woman financially, because that's empowerment, man. It empowers them. They have properties. They can access loans and banks because the title documents are in their names. If anything, peradventure, God forbid, happens to the man, they have a shelter where they can put their head and keep that of the children. So we don't have cases whereby the uncles and the in-laws come and throw them out of the house. But because these documents are in their names, it will be owned by them. That's the
Young people like you should think about doing it now, and hopefully you continue to see it develop. And I trust that as it develops, it helps women in Africa to change their status of life, and that's very good, and it's a blessing for you, because you are Africans. You want to see our continent change, and Africa can really change, because we are blessed with so much that if it is put into use for our populations, Africa can truly change. So I thank you so much, and I hope that you will not give up on your cause, that you continue to push it and use it for the good of our continent. So it's a real shame to see that it is Africa that suffers most globally when it is blessed the most. You can't understand that. It's not explainable at all. So young people who feel that must fight to change that. So I'm hoping that Co-op is an organization that is formed indeed to fight that trend of Africa being so poor, and our people being born in poverty and dying in poverty, when we are so blessed. It's like a betrayal to God himself. So I really thank you sincerely, because I think it's good to see young people taking up a cause like this, to work for it and be serious about it. That's how we can change our continent. So thank you again.
Webale mama.
Very, ma'am.
Thank you so much.